Hello and welcome back. You're watching Parry This. Today we are continuing our focus on 1400s Bohemia with another background biography video. This one focusing on Jobst of Moravia, the lesser known contender for the throne in between Sigismund of Hungary and Wenceslas IV. So let's just dive on in and learn what this guy was all about. So starting in early life, as I am wont to do, Jobst of Moravia, also known as Jobst Moravsky or Jobst Luxembourski in Czech, or Jobst or Jodocus von Maren in German, was born in 1354 in the city of Brno. He was a member of the Luxembourg dynasty. He was the eldest son of John Henry, Margrave of Moravia, the younger brother of Holy Roman Emperor Charles IV. This makes Jobst first cousin to both Wenceslas IV and Sigismund of Hungary, as well as Charles IV's nephew. He was also first cousin to King Charles V of France and cousin-in-law to both King Richard II of England and King Louis I of Hungary. So it should be pretty clear at this point that European nobility and royalty had a pretty limited gene pool back in the day. Jobst first came to power upon his father's death in 1375, where he was made the new Margrave of Moravia. In ruling, Jobst moved the seat of this Margraviate to the Brno-Spielberg castle and focused a decent amount of his time and effort into focusing on improving Brno and transforming it into the metropolis it would be seen as for the duration of his rule. In 1388, Jobst received the Duchy of Luxembourg, given in pawn by his cousin King Wenceslas, son of late Emperor Charles IV. The same year, Jobst also became Prince Elector of Brandenburg, pawned by Wenceslas's younger brother Sigismund, who focused on his rule over the Kingdom of Hungary. In 1394, Jobst joined a rebellion of Bohemian nobles around Bochek II of Podebrady against Wenceslas, whom he had arrested at Prague Castle and later taken into custody by the Austrian Stromberg dynasty at Waldburg. Peace was made at the instigation of Wenceslas's brothers Sigismund and John of Gorlitz. However, once released, the king had Jobst expelled from Prague. Sigismund and Jobst signed a mutual inheritance treaty in 1401, but later again fell out with each other. Jobst initially supported Sigismund of Luxembourg in his effort to seize the Bohemian crown in 1401, joining in a rebellion against his current king, Wenceslas IV, with most of the Moravian nobility. This alliance of Sigismund, Jobst, and the Hungarian and Moravian nobles was able to weaken Wenceslas's rule to the point where they were able to actually capture and imprison Wenceslas in an attempt to seat Sigismund upon the Bohemian throne. It is likely that Jobst's motives in aiding Sigismund here were due in no small part to his own self-interests. Most historians posit that he either intended to use the goodwill with Sigismund to add to his own power, or to betray him after he had the crown and seize it for himself, with the aid of Bohemian loyalists who would resist Sigismund's claim. In any case, in 1402, Jobst began to oppose Sigismund in alliance with Albert IV, Duke of Austria, and turned their initial rebellion into a resistance. It was at this time that Jobst led a movement with the aid of Bohemians still loyal to Wenceslas to have him freed, and Sigismund was forced to retreat to Hungary. Jobst was a very capable and deft politician who ambitiously desired more power and property and who did not waver over whether to switch sides or change his mind if his objectives were at stake. He had to share the administration of Moravia with his youngest brother Prokop, which was the cause of protracted conflicts that ended only with Prokop's death in 1405. With the help of his cousin Sigismund of Luxembourg, he acquired part of the present western Slovakia, including Bratislava. Jobst became also the Margrave of Brandenburg, administered the county of Luxembourg and the imperial voogtee of Alsace. He was a competent manager, and he reopened the Brno minting mill that produced his own coins for the entire period of his rule, including a limited emission of ducats. Jobst was not only politically astute, but also a very thrifty governor. Many rulers, including Sigismund himself, were financially indebted to him. In his day, it was said that Jobst, and not either Wenceslas or Sigismund, who was the true uncrowned sovereign of Bohemia. At the time Kingdom Come Deliverance takes place, however, Jobst was nearly drowning in debt that had been accrued during his many plots and schemes.
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end. This kingdom needs a king.
The question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslas IV, who is being held in captivity.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How have they changed, your grace?
Sir, there is one thing on which we undoubtedly concur, that King Wenceslas, unfortunately, did not inherit his father's gift for governing. Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money and effort.
How did the king let it go so far, damn it?
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt. A king, in fact, who never wanted to be king. But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslas appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order. It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of the kingdom and began planning Wenceslas's journey to Rome for the imperial coronation. But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet with a crown.
I must say, Margrave Jobst, Wenceslas and Prokop behave rather like naughty children in need of a good clout about the ears.
Sigismund would agree. He was already planning his rule of Bohemia, and all of a sudden, the rug was pulled from under him. I'd say he lost his patience and decided he'd drag Wenceslas to the coronation kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, your graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost. There was nothing I could do to stop him. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today. The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
After the death of King Rupert of Germany, also known as Rupert of the Palatinate, in 1410, Jobst was elected successor by 4 of the 7 prince-electors on the 1st of October, opposing his cousin Sigismund, who had already been elected by 3 electors on the 10th of September. It was in autumn of 1410 that Jobst of Moravia would reach the pinnacle of his political career, by being elected as Holy Roman Emperor. Unfortunately for him, however, he would only hold this seat for a few weeks, as he would then die under unexpected and potentially suspicious circumstances. Many historians believe that there was no foul play here, and that he died of some sickness. But there are many that still hold to the belief that he was poisoned. However, there is a certain contention between 2 parties that potentially could have been involved in his alleged murder, since both Wenceslas and Sigismund were at the time also vying for the crown of the Holy Roman Emperor. Both are suspect. However, it is almost unanimously accepted that if he was in fact poisoned, it was likely Sigismund who ordered it done, as he had the most to gain. In any case, Jobst's death on the 18th of January 1411 cleared the way for Sigismund's election as King of the Romans, and his later coronation as Holy Roman Emperor. In fact, Sigismund would go on to scalp all of Jobst's titles after his death, and would succeed Jobst as the King of Germany, Elector of Brandenburg, and Margrave of Moravia. The only title that Sigismund wasn't able to make off with was Duke of Luxembourg, which would pass on to Elizabeth of Gorlitz, the daughter of Sigismund's younger brother, John of Gorlitz. Jobst was married twice, first to Elizabeth of Opole, daughter of Duke Władysław Oplecek, in 1372. However, she would die only 2 years later, presumably in childbirth. Jobst then married Agnes of Opole, daughter of Duke Boleslaw II of Opole, and sister of Duke Władysław in 1374. As far as I could find, neither of these marriages would supply Jobst with any living children. So, in conclusion, Jobst of Moravia would die at the age of 57, after a lifetime of striving for more power and more influence. His family quickly faded into obscurity as he left behind no heirs to continue his legacy. He is best known for his contributions to the city of Brno, and his tendency to switch sides whenever convenient for himself. Well, that's the end of this video. I hope you found it to be entertaining and informative. Jobst is an interesting footnote in Bohemian history, and could have become a truly famous monarch, and would have likely done much as Holy Roman Emperor had his life not been cut tragically short. If you have anything you would like to add or that you feel that I missed, I invite you to now go into the comments and share your thoughts below. I also invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can actively participate in the community polls and help select future topics for videos. In any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.